Okay, so I think this is your favorite episode,
It's my
Reese.
favorite. It's my favorite.
This is the reason we started this whole podcast.
Is it? Oh my gosh. I'm not embarrassed. I'm proud.
And for sure, guys, there will be part 2, part 3, part 4.
Super
of
dami.
the-
For as long as you want me to talk about this, I will talk about this. And actually, even if you don't want to, pwede naman kasi ako mag-records walang manood. Pero ni-record ko pa. So,
So the title of our podcast for today is Girls Geeking Out on.
Spreadsheets! Oh
So,
my gosh.
Reese,
I'm so
I
kilig.
think it's an understatement to say that you're very passionate about this.
Yes, I super am. And I'm also a very totally normal person.
Are you sure?
I am half sure.
Okay.
But spreadsheets are cool. Or we'll
Okay.
make it cool. Or I'll make
We'll
it
make
cool.
it cool. We'll make
We
it
will
cool,
try.
guys. So, how did this whole passion for spreadsheets start anyway?
Yeah, so the first time I use a spreadsheet isn't for anything that you use spreadsheets for. It's actually to make a dating game. And as if naman I knew anything about relationships when I did that. Because that was years ago. As in, medyo bata pa ako noon. I think nag-uumpisa pa lang ang spreadsheets. Or something like that.
Oo, pego.
Oo, pero sobra akong happy about it. Dating, gumawa ng dating quiz, tapos gumagawa ko ng mga different colors, ganyan. Ginawa ko siyang coloring book. Ganon. So, I was very fascinated because when I look at spreadsheets, I am not intimidated. I see all of the cells.
Yes.
And what I see are possibilities. But back then, I didn't know the possibilities. Ang alam ko lang, pwede ko silang kulayan differently. And also, I can make dating games and I can make more dating games.
As future, you can make an app in the future. Because
Yun, yeah. I think kaya yun. Let us call that.
And I remember you were telling us before in some episodes of the podcast that you actually hated math.
Yeah, super. So, I was so averse to math. And this connects to my spreadsheets love after a while. And hindi siya mutually exclusive eh. I could hate math but love spreadsheets because I didn't use spreadsheets for math. But I also knew what it can do naman. But I hated math for as long as I can remember because parang very teacher-specific yung grades ko. Kapag yung teacher
Totoo naman
babait
yan.
sa akin, mataas yung grade ko because tinutulungan talaga ako. Kasi it's not natural for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm a natural in math. And I think that's okay.
And that's perfectly okay.
That's perfectly okay. But I don't think it's an excuse to not learn something new just because you don't think you're a natural.
I agree.
So, yeah, pwede naman eh. I mean, 'di ba? It's not bad to learn.
May tidbit ako dyan.
Yeah.
Diba? Nahihirapan ka sa math. But ako, in high school naman, I love teaching math to my classmates na nahihirapan sa math. Because
Aw,
I
you
really
would've
love
been
math
my-
and I love teaching math, the logic, all of these things. So medyo dun talaga, nagki-geek out ako with the math stuff. But yes, that's why I guess the connection with the spreadsheets, I love the connection with the spreadsheets, with math and all of these things. Kaya I like the logic there. But yes, you were sharing that you...
But yeah, you would have been the classmate that I needed. Kapag yung teacher hindi masyadong ganun ka-helpful yung teaching style sa learning style ko.
Correct.
So I really had like sometimes really bad grades, talagang hirap ako. While other people kasi parang hindi nagmamatter kung sino yung teacher nila, magaling lang sila talaga. Minsan nga nag-absent sila lagi, darating na lang sila sa exam, tapos perfect, ganon. But ako, I really had to work so hard to understand all of it and practice so much. And so I really learned to hate it. Meron siyang may
trauma
feeling.
response.
May trauma response talaga siya. And so, ganun yung frame of mind ko, ganun yung mindset ko, even when Rags to Riches was starting. So, I was focused on marketing, sales, the PR part, the partnerships part. So, I love those parts because they build the business.
Yes.
But because I didn't like the numbers part, there are so many things that I couldn't see. Because in a business, you need to know your numbers.
Yes.
Hindi talaga pwedeng hindi.
Correct.
You can't just delegate it to anyone.
Yes.
And so, I didn't accept that. I knew that, but I didn't accept that in the beginning. So, it's one of the many reasons. Kasi marami namang reasons talaga. But it's one of the many reasons why R2R almost closed. Ragstore just almost closed 2016. That was such a difficult year. I was pregnant with our first baby. I gave birth. And syempre, for first-time moms, you would know
Yes.
that your first child really parang breaks
Everything.
breaks everything.
Batchmates yung anak natin. 2016.
2016.
Yung first baby.
Oo, magugulat ka na parang,
Correct.
what? Ganito pala
Yeah.
siya. Bakit sa TV parang ang peaceful?
Correct,
Bakit
correct.
in real life it's so chaotic?
And I really felt, I mean, that's for another episode, but yeah.
Gagawin natin yun.
Ibang episode yun. I really felt the hormones after.
Oh, yeah.
So the postpartum was
Totally.
like not...
So, that was such a difficult time. So, parang, for me, I traced that time back to so many reasons na parang muntik mag-close yung R2R because of reason A, B, C, D, whatever. But one of the major reasons that I have control over is really my hatred of math.
Yeah.
Blind spot siya eh.
Correct,
And kapag
correct.
blind spot siya, you know what happens to blind spots? You get into accidents.
Yes.
You don't know what you're crashing into. And that time, ganun yung nangyari. So, R2R was in such a difficult situation. And parang during that time, naghihingalo siya. And talagang magko-close na. And 5 things needed to happen in order for R2R to even get a chance at surviving. Not even securely surviving, but a chance.
Yes, chance to
And
survive.
each of those 5 things, very unlikely na mangyari. And yet, nangyari silang lahat. So, I was like, okay, nangyari silang lahat, I shouldn't throw this chance away.
Correct.
And so, one of my commitments is to really understand business numbers. And it was a hard journey. But then I remember, I love spreadsheets, but I didn't use it for math. But and I still can't So don't ask me math questions now. I cannot answer. I need a calculator. Even if it's a
Hindi
small
na-
number.
Wala na rin akong
Hindi.
mental math.
Hindi siya mental at all.
Yeah.
But the beauty of spreadsheets is that it can math for you.
Yes.
So
The formulas are beautiful.
that's true. So you just have to structure it really well so that it can automatically math for you. And so when I realized that, na parang, oh, I'm very comfortable with spreadsheets, it became my tool of choice, my weapon of choice to get over this math thing. Na parang, kaya naman, imamath ko na lang using spreadsheets. Because hindi ko kailangan i-mental math.
Correct.
Siya na yung mag-math for me. Kailangan ko na lang i-structure it well so
Yes.
that anything that I input will automatically give me the answer that I need. But even that took a while. So, ano yung ginawa ko? I copied a lot of mga financial models
Yeah.
from previous partners na binigay sa amin na financial models. Google Sheets, Excel, lahat yun. Pinag-aralan ko lahat. As in, tinignan ko bawat cell, anong nangyari dito, bakit ganyan yung result, ano yung color coding niya. Ginaya ko yun isa-isa. And I remember back then when I was still learning business math and business numbers, using spreadsheets na I still couldn't balance my balance sheets. I still couldn't, as in, I cannot make sense of the numbers yet. Every time I tried to balance a balance sheet, it would take me about mga 2 weeks or more just to balance it. I dream about it. And then, iisipin ko, yun na yata yung sagot. Tapos pagising ko, hindi. Hindi siya yung sagot. And inggit na inggit ako dun sa ibang mga tao, like the investment managers that we work with, who can balance balance sheets in like a few seconds and a few minutes. And I'm like, why does it take me 2 weeks? But I practice and I practice because I promised that I would. Because the 5 things happened for R2R. And sabi ko, if we're given that chance, I'm not going to throw away our shot for that.
Correct.
So talagang pinaghirapan
And I'm
ko.
so glad you did all of these.
I know. So, years yun, Dar. So,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna downplay the learning that it took
Yeah.
to get there. But in the years of my practice, I have learned a lot of hacks. And actually, yun yung gusto kong i-share
Correct.
na mga hacks in our quick dive. Ilan ba tong ginawa ko? Madami akong ginawa. 4.
And that's
4.
why, in this episode, magkakaroon tayo ng screen share.
Yes! Oo. I don't know how many episodes we'll do this for. And sabi ko kay Dar, let's make this a quick episode because spreadsheets to eh. Gusto kong gising yung mga tao. So,
Hindi tayo magto 20 hours, guys.
Yes.
Mabilis lang to.
so ito na. I am so excited to share this. So, please, everyone, stay awake. This is fun. So, for this quick dive, I have 4 essentials. And I'm gonna share screen. Okay, so I mentioned I have 4 essentials when it comes to making spreadsheet templates. So, first is you have to begin with an end in mind. So, ang end in mind mo, ano bang klaseng information yung gusto ko makita sa spreadsheet ko?
I love this. I have in the first row, what is the objective?
Yes,
in the
you need to know
spreadsheet.
what you want to see.
You will forget it.
Yes. So, you have to
Agree.
take note of it and you have to kind of visualize, ano bang gusto ko makita dito?
Correct.
Because if you don't do that, your spreadsheet will be magulo, chaotic.
Yeah. And it will grow on its own.
Yeah, it will grow on its own and suddenly it's unusable. Kasi parang wala siyang structure.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Imagine, or better yet, map out how you want to see your information. So, like for me, for example, I made this simple budget spreadsheet. This is super simple that anyone can make it and anyone can use it like right away. So, there are 2 spreadsheet features that I always use. Actually, mamaya na yung 2 spreadsheet features. I'm getting ahead of myself because nga, it excites me. So, for example, etong simple budget, ang gusto kong makita is kung gaano kalaki yung expenses ko as compared to my income.
Correct.
What percent yung expenses ko out of my income? Para I know if I can save, if I have savings.
And if you're spending more than you
Oh
already
my gosh, yes. If you're spending more, saan nanggagaling yung pera? Alam na natin saan.
sa credit.
Sa credit card. Yes, correct. So, you have, parang for me, in this simple budget, that's what I want to see.
Yes.
Okay? Take note of that. So, there are 2 spreadsheet features that I always use. First is the data validation. Ito na, sobra talaga siyang technical,
This, I know this
friends.
is your favorite.
My favorite.
This is really
Data
your
validation drop-down and conditional formatting. Are you still there? Please do not.
Stop this.
Baka biglang end tas next podcast na John. So, ano to? Actually, sobrang dali lang yan. Promise, this is so much fun. I could dance here if kailangan. But, wag na lang. Okay, baka I lose them more. So first, data validation drop-down menu. So I use this a lot to standardize my labeling system. So for example, itong budget na to, I standardize the labels of expenses and income. So ito, sample lang to. So that's why I always have this reference tab. And then nilalagay ko, okay, income, as in literally listahan siya. So for example, in your income, you have several income sources. For expenses, you also have several expense categories.
Correct,
My suggestion is don't overdo it. So for example,
Wag super
wag
detailed.
sobrang dami kasi mawawala ka. So make the buckets make sense for your life. So for example sa akin, malakas ako sa eating out. Kaya nandyan siya because I want to make sure that
You don't
I don't overspend.
Spend
Kasi
and
it's also
eating
not
out.
the
Correct.
healthiest. Lalo
Correct,
na,
correct.
diba, the available things out there. So, what I do is I dedicate the tab, like I call it one_reference. Wow. I dedicate a tab to write down all of my categories. So, then I use data validation to call on that information when I log expenses. So, I'll show you that. I never just input the drop-down options directly. So, ano ibig ko sabihin? When I have this, for example, I have an input sheet like this. Kumbaga, dito ko lalagay lahat ng income, lahat ng expenses. Etong drop-downs na to, galing yan
Sa
dito,
kabilang sheet.
sa kabilang sheet.
Correct.
And I do that because it is so important na hindi mo ilalagay directly. Kasi you can You can
Correct.
add a button. I never do that.
Yeah, kasi parang yung nangyayari, minsan nagkakamali ka. Kahit isang
Yeah.
letter lang.
Kahit isang space.
Hindi,
Exclamation mark kasi galit na galit ka. Ganyan.
oo. So, hindi mo na siya matatali yung information. And hindi ka magbabalance as you mentioned
Correct.
earlier.
Exactly. So, because I like using sum ifs, which is
Yes.
my favorite formula.
I love some ifs.
I love sum if and sum ifs. Yung
Yes,
magkapatid
yung
na
madaming,
sum. Oo.
madami kang sinasum na
Correct.
conditions
Na
for the sum.
conditions, yes. Now, you can Google what it is. It's very easy to do, but it will only work well if your labels are correct.
Correct.
And that's why I do data validation all the time. So, do you want me to show you how I did it?
Yes,
Because,
please.
sige, tanggalin na muna natin yung data validation here. Lumiit yung screen kasi. So, that's the... Okay, yan. So, wala siyang data validation, right? So, let's say I take this out. So, how I do it is I just select the whole column. I add a rule, but I want the rule to start in D3. D3.
So, hindi kasama yung header.
Correct.
Which is row
Oo.
1, na 1 transaction per row, or number 2, date, income,
Yes.
income expense.
Exactly. And then drop down from range, you want to select drop down from range, and then click this, select data range. Click that,
Then,
go to reference, and I just select the whole thing. And now, I have the drop down. Ano nga to ulit? Kunwari phone bill siya.
correct.
Okay.
Yung expense.
And then, let's say this is eating out. Dahil
Correct,
ako to.
correct.
Okay. So that's how you do data validation. It's so simple, but it's life-changing. So for me, grabe yung life-changing. Pero hindi
Totoo,
naman.
life-changing
Sige,
siya
fine.
kasi you can like sum talaga lahat ng for that category.
Exactly.
Just don't overkill, like have 100 categories.
Yes. So
Kasi-
like for this, wag yung eating out Jollibee, eating out McDonald's, eating out. Wag nyo nang ilagay yung mga restaurants.
Oo.
Eating out is eating out.
Correct,
Ganyan.
correct.
Oo.
Exactly.
Groceries, parang kapang groceries landers, groceries SM. No na. Just simplify. So, yeah. And the expense categories really depend on you.
ano yung pinaka-biggest bucket of expenses? And if you want, you can have a miscellaneous, like
Yeah.
a catch-all
Yes.
category.
I would, yes. But also, remember to study your miscellaneous after a while, especially if it becomes the
Pag-
biggest one.
Exactly, yes.
Lahat
That is
na lang miscellaneous.
oo. Exactly. So, pag naging sobrang laki na ng miscellaneous yung catch-all mo, I think you need to have some separate categories there
Exactly.
inside.
Exactly. So, ibig lang sabihin nun, meron kang hindi nasabi or hindi na-identify na category na important pala.
Oo, you're not being honest with yourself because you're hiding it under miscellaneous. So, baka yung
Miscellaneous.
shopping nandoon.
Yeah, so dito, wag ka mag-miscellaneous. Tatanggalin ko siya. Kasi, actually, even in my own account, I don't have it. But only because I've been doing this for years.
Correct, correct.
So,
Exactly.
dahil alam ko na kung ano yung
Oo,
categories
kasi
ko.
that way, it gives you the discipline na no,
Yeah.
you have to choose a category so that later on you can assess your data better.
So this template, I'll make this available for everyone to use as well. Para you can check what I did here. So this, so that's the first, no, data validation. The second one is conditional formatting, and it's also one of my favorites because I can make a rule for a specific part of my spreadsheet to change colors and formats depending on the information in that cell. So for example, in this example, diba, I have the reference sheet and then I have the input sheet. The
Correct.
input sheet essentially is what it is. Kaya nilagyan ko ng one transaction per row because when you put, let's say, your income from business 2, lagay mo lang yung amount dito. And then tuloy-tuloy lang to hanggang the end of the year maybe.
Correct,
Yan,
correct.
hanggang as in gaano kadami. Just input everything. So, kung hindi nyo magawa to in your computer, you can always put it in your notes app. So this is like the second input. So let's go back to the conditional formatting. And this is where it comes into play. So this is my results tab where you can see your income totals, your expense totals. And again, as I mentioned, expense as percent of income is what I want to see, at least for this simple budgeting.
So that's the purpose and objective of
Correct.
these sheets.
Exactly. So, again, start with a purpose and objective. So, ito, makikita nyo naka-green na siya. But that's because I made a conditional formatting already for that. So let me show you how I do it. So go to Format, Conditional Formatting. Let me just take out the conditional formatting first so I can show you how to do it. So the conditional formatting, it changes the color or the type of the cell depending on the result it gives. So why is it helpful? Kasi as humans, we're visual, right? So pag may nakita tayong namumula, we're like,
Magpapanic ka.
urgent, ganyan.
Correct.
Oo.
Psychologically. That's
Correct. So you have to set your own urgency. So for the purpose of this sheet, let's say, kapag yung expense mo ay naging 80% na of your income, pwede ka na magpanic, ganyan. Parang if you want that as like as a button for
Yes.
you or
So
like
you
an alarm
actually
bell.
can decide kung
Correct.
ano yung condition that would trigger your alarm
Yes.
bells.
Correct. So how do you do that? You select the cell, the result cell, which in this case is this percent, and then you do the format, conditional formatting, and then apply to F17, which is this one, F17. And then instead of if not empty, you do a number. So let's say is greater than or equal to 80%. So, gawin mong red kung gusto mong mag-panic. Okay? Let's say ganon. So, how will it end up there? Let's simulate it in the input. So, kunwari itong
Tasan
eating
mo yung
out mo,
expense.
nasa 4,000. Tingnan nga natin.
Kulang
Hindi
pa.
pa, kulang pa. 5,000?
Kasi
6,000?
mga 7.
Sige. Ayan, mental math nga mahina nga ako dyan, guys. I told you that. Nagmumula na siya. 90%. O, diba? So, nagpula na siya. So
Correct.
now, when you see it, you'll be like, oh, shucks.
Tipid-tipid muna.
Wait, tipid-tipid muna pala ako.
So, for the balance month, wag muna akong gumastos kasi
Yeah.
nag-90% na.
Exactly.
Unless you get more income and bring it
Yes.
down.
Which you can always do.
Correct.
So, recap. First one is before making any spreadsheet, you begin with an end in mind. Second, the two formulas that I always use that could be helpful for you also would be the data validation and conditional formatting. And the third one, organize your sheets. So, I do it this way.
I also
Ikaw din, ganito.
nag-organize din ako ng sheets and I love numbers
Yeah.
because it's very logical.
I know. And the logic is so important kasi when you
Yes,
make sheets.
correct.
How
The
you
logic.
organize your information. So, I do it this way. Meron akong isang sheet only for references. As in, lahat ng drop-downs ko nandun. And then, one sheet for the input. I don't put the results somewhere here. Hindi ko yan ginagawa. Huwag niyong gagawing scratch paper ang inyong spreadsheet. Kasi one day, hindi niyo na alam kung ba't niyo nilagay yun. Okay?
Hindi mo na maintindihan kasi ang dami mo
Hindi na.
ng formula.
Yeah. So, ito lang. One input, nandyan. Hindi na ako naglalagay ng mga animations and all of that, although I can and it's fun. But if it's not useful, it's just pretty. It's not gonna work. And then I have another tab, which would be the results tab. So, eto na siya. So, this has been more sustainable for me because it is possible na itong input na to ay humaba ng humaba. Diba? As in, it can go on and on. And you can
Correct.
add more rows.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because the results will give you the results. So, hindi lang siya in one sheet. You have the space to make as many inputs as you can. And the last one, learn the spreadsheets language para alam mo what to search for in terms of the formula you can use when you need it. So there are maraming videos na YouTube, TikTok. It will give you ideas on the formula to use for specific things. So ipapractice mo sila when you see them. So marami akong formula knowledge already, but I still don't know every single hack or every single formula. Hindi ko pa rin yan alam. And okay lang, because there's always search engines that you could use.
Yes.
But as long as you know what to ask,
Correct.
yun talaga
Exactly.
Yun yung important.
And
Or-
don't be, I think, parang don't be hard on yourself if you don't get the answer immediately when you're doing the search engines.
Yeah.
I mean, try again.
Yes.
You'll get it.
And another hack is you can also ask your favorite AI assistant. You could be like,
Yes.
using a spreadsheet, what formula should I use to get...
Yes, correct.
You can always do that. But the pinaka-importante part really is the structure of your spreadsheet. Because all of the formula that you know wouldn't matter if you don't structure it well in the first place.
Kaya napaka-important yung labeling and then also the purpose of your spreadsheet. Like, what do you want to get out of it?
Yeah. And then, now what?
Yes, so now we proceed with our practical application.
Lagi naman, because what's all this for if we cannot practice it in real
Yes, we
life?
should be able to use all of the things that we're learning about in our Girls Geeking Out.
Yes. So, I have been using spreadsheets for years, so I've made a lot of templates. So, marami I can share actually with all of you here. So, merong mga practical but, actually not so practical, pero fun application. So, I have a K-drama tracker. So, di ba pwede yun? I've watched too many. As in too many. Lalo na during the lockdown, the pandemic, because I was still breastfeeding my baby back then. So, paggabi, isang kamay lang yung available. So, hindi ako makapag-type, ganyan. So, nakanood lang ako ng K-drama. So, nakanood ako ng a total of 181 K-dramas. 16 episodes.
Guys, what does not get measured does not get done.
Yeah, it got done. 181 of them. So, yeah, it's fun to see how much time I've spent with K-dramas. Breastfeeding naman kasi.
Breastfeeding.
So, yes. Pero yung madami doon, hindi na breastfeeding part yon. Just really because I love, like, just that's my escape.
Yes.
I like it. That's my form of self-care. Except the really stressful K-drama. So, I don't do that. But yeah, K-drama tracker. Another application for me for spreadsheets is my to-do list. And I like this because I can program my to-dos even if they happen in like 2 years or more. How about you, Dar?
So, actually, super Excel fan. And yung pinakita mo, it reminded me of a cash management tracker I did for my wallet. Like, literally.
Like your wallet, your physical
my
wallet.
physical wallet. Na parang kung
Okay.
may 48 pesos with the coins and all of these things, dapat nagbabalanse siya. So, kaya medyo really geeking out on that. But what I want to share is actually related to what you shared. It's a Google form to encode your receipts.
I love that.
Kasi, di ba, minsan, when you, parang, alam mo yun, nawawala mo yung receipts or tatapon mo
Yeah.
na yung receipts, I mean, you don't want to keep it, especially if it's for personal use.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to track where your money goes. So, I can share with you guys your Google Forms for this so that it can support Reese's spreadsheet
Oo
screen
nga.
recording of your expenses.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys geek out with us on this.
Yes, and it's your turn to geek out because this is a lot. And spreadsheets at first could seem really intimidating. I knew I was intimidated to use it for numbers at the beginning. But when I started it and I practiced it, I just got better. So you can only get better with practice. That's no way out talaga.
Correct,
so
correct.
just go for it. Try it out. So maybe start with something less intimidating, kagaya na, or less
K-drama.
consequential. Yes,
K-drama
the K-drama tracker or whatever you're watching. Are you watching
Yeah.
those yung mga shorts na ano?
Ay, shorts, podcasts.
Yeah. You
Diba?
could do that. Your favorite podcast, ganyan. Something that doesn't have masyadong consequence in your life, but that can help you practice spreadsheets already. And my challenge is use the things you've learned here, like data validation and conditional formatting. My favorite.
Yes.
And when you do make it yourself, please share and tag us.